Hello fellow gardeners, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice and I'm the Red Soil Gardener. Today we're going to talk about salvias. There are very many different varieties and I'm going to show you how you can propagate salvias. So let's get started. Fellow gardeners, from my previous episode of my driveway, I talked about salvias, and basically I want to show you how to propagate them so that we can both share the glory of salvias. Now, why I love salvias is that they come in these beautiful colors, and look at this one. This is a giant indigo spire. It's beautiful. And this is just the indigo spire, which is just a normal size. And then we have all these beautiful red flowers. And this one here, look at this one. This is the pineapple sage, and it's also a salvia. I use the leaves a lot in my salad. And I think we've also, this is the hot lip salvia. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And you get them in all colors, and this one's slightly peachish. So all these beautiful colors, and I just sprinkle all these plants around because first of all, a lot of birds love the nectar and a lot of butterflies do come, but generally I want to show you what it is and how to do it. Now what I've done now is I've actually went around the garden, and I'm going to show you these two varieties. This one here is the tall giant. That's the giant indigo spur. So I've taken a cutting from that, and what I'm going to do, don't forget to sterilize. I'm going to just cut off the top because we don't need it. Now, what happens with propagation of salvias, again, it's where the junction, and that's where you're going to get the root. So I'm going to remove some of these big leaves, and then we can see it properly. And I might even snip these ones off, so we can see what we're doing. Now, at these junctions, this is where the rooting will take place. So when I'm actually doing my cutting for my salvias, I might even cut maybe about 2 centimeters in diagonally. Yeah. And then I'm going to nip the top here. And that's what I'm going to propagate. So with this, I'm going to just remove those leaves. I'm going to dip it into a rooting hormone. And with that, I'm going to just stick it in the soil. And this is another one. Again, I'm going to apply the same principle. I'm just going to remove all these leaves so they don't get in the way. I'm going to cut it here, just get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of this bit here, and I think we better get rid of some of these. And again, as I showed you, is that the root will come from this junction. So based on that, again, I'm just going to put it in the rooting hormone. And then I'm going to put it in the soil. What I have here for the rooting, for the soil, is just a bit of compost, some potting soil, and I've also have a bit of river sand, so that at least once it does start rooting, our roots can find, at least it's a bit porous, and our roots can find their way in there. Now, I want to show you something, because a few weeks ago, I did start making babies, propagation, and these are some of the propagations that I did come up with. This one is this, and all these, I'll show you, and we'll look at the root structure. All these are the red salvia. All these are what I managed to propagate. As you see here, is this one has managed to propagate, and the leaves are coming from there. And also this one, again, another cutting, is already looking good. And I'm just going to leave it in the pots until the roots are strong, so then I can actually plant it in the garden. And this is another one that we propagated, and again growing really nicely. Just have to make sure it's firm. We're going to see the rooting structure and see if I did a good job. Oh yeah. And of course I've got some more propagated ones. Now the thing is that when you do go into propagation, you have to be very careful not to disillusion yourself, because if you do a lot of cuttings, not all of them will actually work. So you may end up with some stems that haven't rooted, so you have to throw that out. But don't be despondent, because not all those you propagate really do survive, but those that do, you could have healthy plants like this. So now let's have a look at these ones. So these were a few weeks ago, and there you go. Already I've got one root coming out of that, but I'm going to put it back in the soil so that it gets stronger. So I think these ones, because they were a bit late, let's look at these ones. This is the indigo spire, the purple one. The thing about when you do a propagation and then you want to remove it from the pot, let's try this one, because it's easier when you have a pot that has that shape, because then it's easier to just, the soil just comes off. Let's see what's happened to this one. Okay. And there's my root, if you see it. It's starting to root, and these must be about 3 weeks old. And so what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to put it back in the soil and leave it again like the others to get stronger root, and then from there we'll see what we can do and plant it in a pot or in the garden. So these are about 3 weeks old. I'm going to move this here. And let's look at this one, because it's got a good pot. Okay, I'm going to tip it over. Now this one I think was maybe about 6 weeks, but to me it looked like it's taken off very well. And I'm going to open it out, shake it out. Don't force it, because otherwise what happens, you'll lose a lot of the roots. Okay, this is a good one. It's really taken off. This is a good one. So all this clump here is actually the root. So this one, again, done the same propagation weight. This must be about 6 weeks old, and look at that lovely rooting structure, lots of lovely little babies, and it's strong. And I'm still going to keep it in the pot and give it a few more weeks, and then I'm going to take it out in my garden. So basically that's how you grow salvias. So don't forget that, again, is you take your cutting and put it in the soil. Make sure that you have about 2 centimeters and the junction. The junction is where you get the rooting, and then just keep watering it and make sure it's a well-drained soil, especially for the babies, because in the end you don't want the roots to start and they can't move and circulate in their growing boxes. But once they do grow, you move to the next stage where you move it into a different pot. And this one, which I think is quite well established, I moved it into a bigger pot, and I think in about maybe 3 weeks' time I should be able to put it in the garden. So that's how you propagate your salvias. Standing in a bed of salvias, indigo spires, very energizing. I wish to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press that notification button. Also, put your comments there and then we can start sharing. I might end up learning new tips, and I hope this episode of Salvias did give you some good tips. Let's start sharing things. Thank you so much and happy Salvias Day.